One of Africa's biggest technology advocacy groups has appealed to delegates at the World Economic Forum to support access to technology education on the continent. Africa Teen Geeks has grown to become one of the largest computer science non-profit organizations in Africa. Our business editor, Xolani Mbanjwa, caught up with Lindiwe Matlali, who aims to bridge the gap between young people who seek access to technology education.
Next guest is Lindiwe Matlali, who many years ago did actually realize that no African child should be left behind in the innovation and technology space. And then she started and founded Africa Teen Geeks to actually educate and drive the message home about innovation and technology in the country and around the world. Thank you very much for joining us, Lindiwe. This is the second time since last year that we've spoken. It is quite important, you were saying even earlier on, that you see education as important, you see entrepreneurship as important, but social capital, networking, is also important as an entrepreneur or as a budding entrepreneur in order to actually grow as a person.
Yeah, I mean, we know that it takes more than talent for you to succeed. There's so many talented people that are struggling. And so, and for us, you know, as Africa Teen Geeks, my passion is not just to give the young people the skills and train them, is to get them to understand the importance of networking, the importance of social capital, and bring them through Africa Teen Geeks and get them to meet people who can actually make a difference in their lives. And as early as possible, because once a child has raised their aspirations, then they've got something to, you know, to look forward to. They've got something to dream about. And that is what actually can also support a lot of kids who come from disadvantaged families whose parents maybe are domestic workers. They leave home at 4 in the morning, come back at 7 or 8. They don't have time to sit and support them. They don't even have time to encourage them because they're just too tired, you know. And I think it's so important that we then, you know, with the work that we're doing, to make sure that those kids, if, you know, any child who is deserving, we identify those lost Einsteins, those unicorns, and provide them with the support they need.
Let's talk about an important session that you had. You had a whole room to yourself, talking to innovators, talking to investors. What was the message you were driving home?
For me, the message that our session was about was looking at how do we, democratize access to influence. It is so important, as we mentioned earlier, the importance of social capital in one's success. Exposure is important, education is important, but social capital plays a huge role, right? So what we want to do, given WEF is filled with influential people, people who are powerful, people who are looking for opportunities to invest. But, for me, as an African, when people talk about investing in Africa, they want to invest in Africa, but they don't want to invest in Africans. And what I want to do is to really show them that we've got a lot of brilliant young people with brilliant young, ideas that deserves, an opportunity for them to build multinational businesses.
Let's talk about later this week. You'll be sharing the stage with the global CEO of Deloitte. You'll be sharing a stage with the managing director of the World Economic Forum, Olivier Schwab, talking about trailblazing as an entrepreneur in today's world. What will that be about?
It's about this week we were also, emphasizing and growing the partnership that we have just signed with Uplink at the World Economic Forum, where we, as I mentioned, we are trying to really democratize access to influence and making sure that kids who are smart, who are gifted, get the support they need from the right people who can make a change in their lives. So we'll be talking about that around how do we then also create a pipeline for young global shapers and young global leaders that comes from those those communities, right? And that's what we're going to be talking about, to say we don't have to start until the kids are at university or they are at the beginning of their career, or sometimes already established. For young global leaders, it's really established people.
Lindiwe Matlali, the CEO and founder of Africa Teen Geeks, sharing the stage with a number of global leaders in the business world here at the World Economic Forum, and she has done a lot of work back home in driving the message that we need to educate children about the world of innovation and technology, because there's a lot of talent that is in South Africa. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I am Xolani Mbanjwa in Davos, Switzerland.